Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be taking a look at this really cool 1/10 scale truck I just got in the mail today from Banggood. This is the FC610. This is a 1/10 scale truck by Flyhall, as you can see right up here. I don't know if you can make that out or not. This looks really neat. I'm really excited to review this. It just seems to be really well built. I've taken a peek inside and it just looks really great. It has oil-filled shocks. It is brushed motor powered. The brushed motor looks to be a really nice brushed motor in this. And I just think it's going to be really a good performer. And best of all, it looks like it'll be a really easy brushless upgrade. We'll take a look at the box and you can see some of the stuff here on the front, some of the diagrams. Again, on the front here, you can see that it has LED lights on the front and it's got LED lights here across the top of the truck. So it looks like you have about 6 LED lights. It looks really nice. The tires feel like they've got foam inside them. And it just looks like it's going to be a really nice performer. I just really am excited to take a look at this truck. So what we'll do is let's go ahead and we'll get to the table review of this and see what all comes with this. And then we'll go outside for the driver review after that. So stay tuned. Alright guys, so let's take a look what all comes inside the box with the Flyhall FC610. Well, we all get inside here. Try to make this as brief as possible, and then we'll get outside for the all-important driver review. Now, since I was filming a while ago farther back, I want to just briefly go over some of the things it mentions here, because it would have been difficult to see whenever I was sitting at the table. But of course, it's ready to run, 4-wheel drive, 2.4 gigahertz. But they mention here the independently sprung suspension system, which I can tell feeling these are definitely oil-filled shocks. They're not super bouncy. We'll see that in a moment. Ball bearings, which is very important. You know, it makes such a difference in a run time, less friction. The cars are faster with ball bearings. There's less friction. This used to be something that was not common years ago. Now it's expected, unless it's really cheap toy grade. It says optional metal spur and diff gears. So that's something, I don't know if we're going to be able to figure that out immediately, but you know, that's something that's pretty important if we would want to go brushless on this, because metal gears are just a lot less likely to have issues, you know, failing from heat and friction buildup that brushless motors can create. So we'll have to examine that further. In a brushed motor, in IPX4 splash waterproof, so it can handle being splashed with water, but it's not going to be able to be submerged inside the water. So they do show that here, which I showed you guys a while ago, with the metal drive shafts, and the middle metal differential can strengthen the chassis and reduce the wheel side slipping. So hopefully this stuff is all metal in the truck, and that, again, that'll be pretty important. So let's go ahead and open it up. I noticed they give us, like I said, I had a sneak peek in here, but they give me 2 sets of decals. I don't know if they just stuck together when someone in the factory was packaging it up, or they just wanted to give you 2. That is sort of nice in case any decals that get damaged. That they give us 2. Here's our instruction manual, which we'll take a closer look at it in a moment. And of course, here is the truck. So we'll pull out these now. It has these are sort of like the wheels are stuck into these, so I'm going to kind of damage the box getting this out of here. Some just are cutouts where you can lift them up, but the wheels and tires are actually stuck into it. And let's pull it on out of here. So let's go ahead and move this over now. We still got to get the controller out of there and the battery and charger and stuff, but here is the truck. And again, this looks really nice. And again, look at that. That's got to be oil filled. That's too good. Friction shocks will go boing, 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 and you can just tell. So I think they have this truck probably in I think they have another color. I'm not positive on that, but here are the tires. When you listen to this, you can it just feels like there's foam inside of here. Again, I have to try to pull them back and actually see, because it feels like they're glued on to the rims, which is great. I mean, at least that's what it feels like again. So I'm not going to be really try tearing it, but it just feels like it's got foam in there. But again, I'm just going to go on by guesswork on some of this, and I just love the look of these wheels. So I can't stop that enough. That's really nice on the suspension. It's got this reminder here, I'm sure, about pulling the protective film off. That's most important if you're going to apply decals. Of course, you apply into that, and then the film comes off. Bye-bye decals. So you got to make sure you pull them up. Here are the 4 lights on the top here. So you have LED like rack up here, and then you've got the 2 here in the front bumper. Well, I was almost too high there. So here's your ones on the top, and here's the ones there. So let's go ahead and take off the body. Now you've got these little pull tabs. I'm seeing this more and more, and I love it that they're giving these little pull tabs on the body clips. It's just so much easier than sitting there digging with your fingernails or the old jabbing your fingernail and skin to try to push this, and then you end up stabbing underneath your fingernail, and it hurts like a you know what. So now when we pull it off, you can see we've got this telephone cord style coil wire, and what that is, that's supplying power to the LED lights on the top. So I do like that they use this coil wire. It's much more tidy, and even though you have to kind of keep the body close, or you can unplug it right here if you want to. So you can pull this out and unplug it. It keeps it tidy, so you're not having a wire flopping around and getting caught on stuff and pulling stuff. So I've never seen that, and I absolutely love it because I have a couple other cars that have a wire to the body, and it's always in the way when you're doing stuff, and this is, but it's much more tidy. So you've got a Dean's plug here to the 2S LiPo battery, which we'll take a look at the LiPo. We'll take a look inside here first and make sure we don't get an extra one. Here is your ESC and receiver combo here, and here is the 3-wire. There's a 3-wire servo. So again, doing a brushless upgrade is going to be a piece of cake because you're going to be able to just swap this out and you have to worry about replacing that servo. Here are those oil-filled shocks, and these feel like they're plastic, but you can just tell these got to be oil-filled. Obviously I need to open these up and confirm, but they don't have like a screw in the side or something like you'd see on the cheap fake ones. You can adjust the tension here, but I can just tell these are just really soft. See, they're not squeaking, and they're not like super bouncy. They're absorbing some of the pressure I apply to it. Here's your LED lights coming into your front bumper. Front bumper seems again to be pretty nice. Can take some impacts, but at the same time shouldn't be easy to bust. And I just love these tires. You've got metal dog bones on the front and back, with this being 4-wheel drive, and that's good. They're not going to break easily or anything like that. This is your compound plastic here on your A-arms in the front and back. Pretty similar from front and back. So again, high quality construction in my opinion at this price point. And let's see, take a look at the motor. So let me flip it around this way. You got some passive cooling on here. There's aluminum fins, so the air will flow through here and move the heat away as the heat's drawn up from it. That helps increase the longevity of the motor. And you can see this is a brushed motor, but it has this almost nickel metal style look to it, polished steel, or it just looks better. Most of these brushed 550 motors are real cheap looking, same old cheap Chinese looking motors, I guess the best way to say it. And this doesn't have that look. Now it may not perform any different, but it just looks a lot nicer. And again, no reason why you can't get a brushless motor in there. You may have to hunt around, put the ESC here and maybe the receiver up here or something like that. It looks like they have one of those little like heat protector little plates in there so that the motor doesn't melt into the plastic housing, which is also nice. Here is the steering servo, and again, all this is fully proportional as you'd expect. The steering's fully proportional, the throttle's fully proportional. Let's go ahead and take a look over here and open up the rest of the stuff and see if there are any extra batteries or anything. If there's not, then we'll go ahead and pull the one out and see exactly what is a milliamp. I'm certain that's going to be a 2S. So let's go ahead and see if I can get this open. I have to probably rip it or pull it because I don't have my knife over here. And get the controller out of here. Let's see what else comes in here. So here is what else comes in it. I feel like it could be a battery here. We'll take a quick look. Here is the controller. That's everything that comes in the box. So This is similar to what I've seen on like HBX. So I don't know if my head got in view there or not. I was reaching down to grab some cardboard, so if you saw my bald spot, I apologize. They're telling you not to move this when it's in binding mode. So HBX might make this truck or have a hand in it, because this looks like their standard HBX controller, which has the 2 AA batteries that go vertical in there. So I think David had mentioned to my friend David that it looks like it could have some HBX influence, and I agree with him on that. And since we're looking at the control, let's go ahead and go over it real basic. You got your steering trim and your speed switch. So you want it all the way up. You want to go the fastest, and right now it's not set all the way up. Now I got it there. And your steering, reversing, and your on and off switch. Your throttle, reverse, and brake. And it has an auxiliary button here, which is pretty sure is not going to be operational. I don't think, if it did anything, it would be turning the lights on and off, but I don't think it does that. Here's some like adhesive and some extra wheel nuts and body clips. Here is your basic, you can tell it's 2S because it's a 2S parallel, your balance port charging. And let's see what's in that box. Is that an extra battery, or do we need to pull the battery out? So let's go ahead and open up this package and pull that out. And let's see what's in here. Yeah, that's an extra battery, I thought. So you get 2 batteries. That's nice. And it's pretty similar to like what you see in the Zenlahongs and so many of the other ones like that. It's a 7.4 volt, 1600 milliamp lithium polymer, which is of course the full name for LiPo. And it uses, again, a Dean's plug or a T plug, so you can easily find aftermarket batteries for this. It just needs to be the right size to fit in here. Let's take a closer look at just those bags now that we have it out. Again, this looks like some double-sided tape maybe. I'm not exactly sure what that's going to be for, to attach something. And then, of course, you've got those body clips and some extra wheel nuts. And the charger, again, if you buy this thing, this will get you by for now. It's going to be extremely slow. But it'll do the job. But I would recommend a hobby grade because they all come with Dean's connectors. Most of them do. If not, if they're XT60, I've got some only XT60. You just get an adapter from XT60, the Dean's plug, and you're good to go. You'll be able to charge these batteries up in a half an hour rather than 3 or 4 hours, and you'll get a truer charge. It'll balance the cells better, and the truck will run longer. All right, guys, I think that wraps up the table review for the Flyhall FC610 110 scale off-road truck. Let's get outside now and see how this guy performs outside, so we'll be right back. All right, guys, so let's take the Flyhall FC610 out for a test drive. I'm going to do a few laps here in the front. There's a lot of glare from the sun. It's late in the day. So I just want to get, I don't have my speed reader, but I just want to see kind of how it does on the road. Then we'll take it into the back. We can do a little bit off-road better than here in the front. So let's go ahead and put it down and see how it does. Seems to be pretty decent. I mean, for a brushed motor, it's moving along pretty decent. It's not like, you know, super fast, but again, it's just a brushed motor. So I'm gonna guess that's somewhere, and I got the speed all the way up, somewhere probably around 15 to 20. I'm gonna guess in an 18 mile per hour range. Not super quick, but not bad. All right, let's go ahead. I'm just going to drive it, take it to the yard here and see how it does. Again, this has oil-filled shocks, so it's very well dampened. Yeah, it moves along pretty decent. And it really handles great. Really well balanced, as we can see here. Look, I mean, I'm not flipping it. Oh, there I did. I was going to see if I could turn it full speed. And I flipped it there, but I was turning full speed, so let off the throttle just a little bit and you're fine. Those oil-filled shocks are doing the job. So go back to my favorite spot here, back by the cemetery, but that's because I've got this rock lane and there's no traffic, and we can take it down here and do some jumps. Let's take it here and see how it jumps with this being oil-filled. I expect we're gonna have some pretty decent jumps. Oh, really nice. Now, see something a little different here than last time. That tree's gone. I was wondering, where's the shade at? They've cut this big tree down here. Probably because it was so close to these power lines. It was a safety hazard. It was old. But yeah, now we have this really wide open space here. Heck, I just was here a few weeks ago. I didn't know they cut that down. Oh, that's great. This is really well balanced, and those shocks are helping. This thing does great. In fact, I'm trying to think of something I've had that jumps this well. Look at that. I'm able to go right through all that. Look at the power. Most stuff I get over here gets stuck. This being 1/10 scale, you know, it's pretty big. It looks to me like it's, you know, a small 1/10 scale, you know, a larger 1/12 scale, but oh yeah, this is nice. Oh, and then we flipped it. That jumps great. I mean, I've had a few other cars over here I've jumped. They were smaller, and I've had a lot of, you know, of course, I had a lot of problems. They would flip immediately, or they couldn't get up with much steam going up the hill. Yeah, this is super. Wow, I had a good feeling about this truck. This is by far one of the best RC trucks I've reviewed in a long time. In fact, I'm going to say for a brush truck, I may put this _1 of all the brush trucks I've driven. I've had other ones this size, a few. Trying to think of that one that I did. It was hose speed or something like that. It was pretty good too. And it had friction shocks, but it wasn't as good as this. This is superb. Look at that, throwing the rocks. Again, this is all-wheel drive. Wow. You don't want to make too much of a mess here. I'm going to throw a bunch of rocks into the grass. I love the big tires on it. I got a big piece of grass stuck on the back here. Unless it came off. Oh, it came off. This is awesome. Yeah, I tell you guys, it's been a while since I've had an RC truck that was this much fun, because lots of times, you know, it's just they're a little too bouncy because they don't have oil-filled shocks, or they maybe lack a little bit of power, or they don't handle as well as this. This one is superb. I absolutely love the jumping. Let's see if we can get another jump here. And look at that. It just gets a nice, but not a ton of air, nice amount of air. It just lands upright, and you're ready to keep going. You're not bouncing around like some that bounce because of the, you know, friction shocks, or they hit, they're front heavy and they hit the front and then they tip and they flip. And this is just great. That's why I may even tonight, I'm open this up and see if I can go brushless on this. I want to look and see that are the gears inside actually metal, because it says that's optional. We'll have to see. And just see how easy it is to get it undone. Sometimes on some of these lesser known brands, you run into issues where they've used super glue or something on the screws and they're hard to get out. I don't think that's going to be the case with this, but we won't know until we dig into it. So I really think this thing could be an absolute beast on brushless. And it's really, honestly, I mean, I want to do it just to see, but my goodness, I mean, this is fantastic on brushed. I mean, unless you absolutely need more speed. And of course, going up to a hobby grade controller, I'm going to increase my range, and I'll have a, you know, a battery meter and stuff. So I would have known that the battery was low on this, because you know, it should be flashing or telling me, and I had the LEDs would flash occasionally, and I didn't know what was up with that. I thought I just I was letting it sit too long. But I think it was trying to tell me the batteries were low, but it wasn't doing a very good job. And I mean, look how just stable that is, but how I can just, look at that. I mean, I can let off my hand off the steering, and a lot of these trucks, you do that, and it's pulling, and you're constantly having to adjust the truck just to keep it in a straight line. I mean, this is fantastic. Yeah, I'm gonna say right now, this is the best RC brushed truck I've driven. I can't think of a better one. And if that brushless upgrade is as easy to do as I think it's going to be, this thing could just be fantastic. Let's make sure everything looks like it's okay. This wheel looks like something may have come undone, so I'll have to take a look here and see. I think it's gotten loose. So aside from that, I think we just need to tighten that nut up there. I don't think nothing looks damaged. So I was wondering why it was kind of pulling. So I don't have the wrench out here, but that's something you always want to check on these trucks when you first get them. And I was dumb and didn't, is make sure that it's tightened. Because I've had actually one fall off one time. So, and this one looks loose too. So I think all these nuts need to be tightened on the truck. So that's really important. I want to put a note in here about that. Get it tightened. I would probably even recommend some blue thread lock. So I think that's what I'm going to add to these to keep them in place, because if I go brushless, those are going to really be a problem. I want to fly off on this. So yeah, we've got just some loose wheel nuts. And again, I've seen that before. So aside from the loose wheel nuts, I mean, which is a problem, but it's a fixable problem. This truck is just super. I mean, it just handles great. I mean, it was handling great there, and I was driving around on loose wheels. So it shows you what it looks like whenever it's got, tightened nuts on it. So yeah. All right, guys, that wraps up the review of the Flyhall FC610. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. While you're at it, also click that bell. That way you're notified every time I upload a new video. And as always, guys, have a wonderful day.
The power of the dark side.